Hello, everyone. I'm just gonna make sure that everything's working here. Okay. All right. Welcome to Product Play Tuesday. We are in a new month, which means we have brand new product to play with. If you didn't know, the annual catalog went live today, and there's lots of fun new stamp sets and papers and all sorts of fun things in this catalog that we're going to be seeing over the next year. So if you don't have a catalog and you would like one, please email me and I'm happy to get you one. And you can also check the catalog out online at lindaday.stampinup.net, or you can check it out on my blog. It'll be there at myflutterbyMoments.com. So that's exciting news. And today we have a new project that features new product. It is this. We are going to be making this card today, and it uses our pansy patch stamp set and the pansy dies. Now, I have to be honest with you, when I first saw the stamp set, I wasn't sure about it. I thought it looked kind of complicated, I guess you could say. And I found that as I sat down and just dug in and played with it, I actually really like this stamp set. So we're going to go ahead and get started on making this card. Don't forget that you can go to my blog at myflutterbyMoments.com and you can print off the project sheet that gives you the measurements and the information on the product that you need to make today's project. This features a lot of fun new things. So the first thing we're going to do is we have our Fresh Freesia, that's a new in color cardstock that we're going to fold in half. And I guess we're going to start with stamping because that's the main part of this project. So I have a piece of white cardstock here that measures 2.5 by 3.5. And then also I have a bunch of pansies that I have already cut out with the outline die. And the reason I did this is because as I've played around with this stamp set, I have found that it's easier to stamp once they're cut out than to stamp them and cut them out afterward. So that's just me. But we're going to start with the big pansy first. And the big pansy, we're going to use Blackberry Bliss ink and Fresh Freesia ink, okay? And there are also two stamps. This is one of those stamp sets, we call it two-step stamping, where you have what I'm going to call a base image, and then you have an overlay image, okay? The base image is usually more solid, and then your overlay image is usually more detailed. So our base image is actually going to be in the Fresh Freesia. So we'll put those things aside for just a minute here. And I'm going to ink that up. Bring it down here where I can see it. Just stamp that on there. So that's what your base image looks like. And then I will take the overlay image, once again in Blackberry Bliss, and ink that up. And it just layers right over the top of it all. Like that. See, and that's what creates your overlay image. That's what it looks like. Now, there's a second part to this. So in this stamp set, I'm going to bring the stamp set over. You have two images right here. One, it's kind of like the center of the flower that creates the next part of the flower. So one is meant for the bigger flower. The other one is meant for the smaller flower. So we're going to use, you know what, I think I grabbed the wrong one out. Yep, I did. I have one for the bigger and smaller. Okay, I'm just going to put this on the other side. So this is what the bigger flower looks like. And I'm going to stamp that I know, it's because I didn't want to do that part. There are several different layers, and I'm confusing myself, but there are several different layers, so I am going to use the smaller one. It can be used for the bigger flower and the smaller flower. Like I said, you just have to play around with it to get the look you want. So that is the look I wanted right there. Okay, so we're going to set that aside for just a moment. And then we need to clean this stamp because we'll use it again on our smaller pansy. And our smaller pansy we're going to do in Bumblebee. Okay, so I'm going to open this up, and to get the variegated look on this, we are going to, once again, we have a solid base image, and then we have an overlay image that's more detailed. So I'm going to take our base image, and I'm going to stamp it off once because I don't want it to be full strength. And then I'm going to stamp it onto my cutout piece like that because it gives it a lighter color. And then I'm going to take the second layer, the overlay image, and it's going to be stamped full strength right on top like that. Okay, so that gives you the different colors with one ink pad. And then once again, this little center piece. Oh, I needed my ink pad back. This center piece is going to be stamped in the Bumblebee full strength as well, and it just kind of goes in the center of the little pansy right there. So we'll set that aside. All right. Okay, so we have our two pansies done, and we're going to put dimensionals on the back of them so that they're ready to go. That. We'll just set them aside for a minute. Now we need to take this piece and stamp our leaves on there. So this is kind of, there's no real way to do this except for just to kind of, once again, I have a leaf here. This is the fatter leaf. There's a skinnier leaf and a fatter leaf. This is the fatter leaf, and it has a base image that's solid, and it has an overlay image that's more detailed. And I'm going to be stamping the base image in, let's see, soft seafoam green. And just based on my card that I've already made, I'm going to kind of eyeball where I want that leaf to be. So I'm just going to tilt it like that, one against each other. And then over here on this side, one right there, and one kind of right next to it for that side. So it kind of looks like that. And then I'm going to take soft succulent and use it with the overlay image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it up, and starting on the left side on the bottom, I'm going to stamp it once, full strength, and then I'm just going to rotate it and stamp it again, not full strength, because I just kind of want some variegation on my leaves. So same thing up here, you're going to stamp it on the top image full strength, and then just rotate and stamp it once again to give it a little bit of variation. Now I can put that away. The last thing we need to stamp on here is our sentiment in Evening Evergreen. All right, the sentiment I chose says, "A little hello from me to you." So I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to come down here and just make sure it looks straight and stamp it perfect. I might have gotten it a little bit too high, but that's okay. All right, put that aside. Now this we are going to take and adhere to a piece of soft succulent cardstock that measures 2 5/8 by 3 5/8. All right, there we go. And we also have a piece of the Designer Series paper, Pansy Petals is what it's called, and it measures 2 by 5 1/2. All right, card here, about a 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And okay, we have some ribbon here. This is our Bumblebee gingham ribbon. It's 12 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some adhesive over here on this side of my card. And I'm going to start my ribbon. And it's going to just be flush right along the designer series paper. Okay, I'm going to bring it around behind my card and back around to the other side. And just bring it along here till it gets to that adhesive again. And I'm going to overlay it just a little bit. Now the reason I'm doing this is because this is a great way to, if you don't have as much, or if you're running kind of low on ribbon, you can do this trick where you do this and you tuck it behind something. So it's going to be tucked behind this piece right here. I want to make sure there's lots of adhesive on this because it's going over the ribbon. So I'm going to take this and just hide that where that ribbon connects right underneath it, right? So you don't see it at all. I'm going to make sure that that looks straight. There we go. Okay, so press down on that. And then I do want it to look like I have a bow or a knot. So I'm just going to take this and tie a little knot like this. Just create a little knot there and a little knot there. It doesn't use a ton less ribbon than if you were just to tie the whole thing around and tie a knot, but it does use a little bit less ribbon. So if you're trying to make your ribbon stretch, it's kind of a faux knot. Like this. And I can get that knot and just put it right there. And then it looks like I tied a knot even though I didn't. And it creates a little bit of a flatter knot as well. Okay. All right. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to put our pansies on. So we'll take our purple one and it's going to go on this side. And then our smaller yellow one, it's going to go right here. Kind of overlays a little bit. And then we have these new in color jewels. They're, I think, my new favorite thing because they're pretty and they're easy to use. And I like how kind of flat they are. So I'm going to take the yellow one and put it in the center there. And another yellow one and put it in the center of my purple one as well. Okay. And then that is the end of our card. I just realized my sample doesn't have a bow on it. However, the one I made before this one did. So anyway, LOL. Okay, so remember you can go to my blog and get the project sheet. Don't forget to do that. And once again, if you want an annual catalog, please email me at simplystampandfun@gmail.com and I'd be happy to get you one. Thanks for stopping by today.